Your first question, Coach.
Yeah, hey, I thought we competed at, at a good level today. I told them in the locker room, I think the first quarter was just was torture to watch, but we didn't do really anything well. I thought we guarded enough and got enough missed shots, especially early. We just could not convert and score, and in the first quarter obviously hurt us. But then I thought we got our footing a little bit. Was pleased with how we went into the half, outside of maybe the foul toward the end, and then they started the third well, and then we fought back again. So, look, we made them have to play. They had to play to win today, and they did. And obviously, yeah, I know we lost by whatever it was, 31, but I mean, we competed at a level that I was happy with. We've struggled offensively all year at times. It's not a secret, and I thought we gave away a lot of opportunities that we had in terms of at least trying to cut into the lead a little bit. But I thought we battled. These kids have been on the short end of a lot of games this year, but they've never stopped competing. So proud of them. Look, we could have come in and after that first quarter could have been real bad, which at least we came back and I thought really battled and showed some grit. To try to claw back into the game.
Questions for Coach? Well, right here in the second row. Go ahead.
Josh Simon, college at Baltimore. Coach, could you just speak a little bit about Bernard and
Yeah, I mean, look, Bernard has been great. I think she knows she would probably have liked to have been a little better today. But, for a kid to come from the A-10 where she was in high leverage games on tournament teams and had to battle through some adversity this year with some injury stuff in the summer. She's got just a really, really good demeanor. I fought with her to be more vocal, but, it's just trying to pull something out of her that I think she's gotten better at. But really just a solid and a great kid. She's been a good leader for us all year. Shay, coming from Miami in terms of giving her a little bit of a different role. She's been a lot for us. Obviously, you got to play pretty well to be Defensive Player of the Year, and people have to respect what you do. But both have great personalities. Shay makes me laugh, and so does Bernard. But they come to work. They want to compete. We'll miss them for sure.
Question all the way here on the right, second row. Wait for the microphone. Sorry. Here you go.
Hey, Coach. Kari Thompson, Boston Globe. When you look at the year that Sarah Strong is having, what stands out to you about her game and what makes her special?
Yeah, I mean, she's just a matchup nightmare. It reminds me of some of the players that UConn has had in the past, where the versatility is just really difficult to match up with, whether she can beat you from the outside. And right now, that's probably where you hope she beats you. And that'll probably change because their players always get better. But she's just she's got a great demeanor about her as a freshman. You wouldn't think she was the way she plays. She's got a high IQ. So, yeah, she's going to be she's easily, obviously, the best young kid in our conference, and might be one of the, if not the best, one of the best in the country. So she's got it. She's got all the tools, from what I can see.
Front row left.
Hey, Coach. Azar Johnson from MB Online Media. Clearly, your regular season's over, but there's still a chance that you could have future play. If you could just speak about your team, and your team does have a winning record, and it is in a big, I would consider a Power 5 conference. You can just speak about your team and why your team should keep playing and keep going and be picked.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not here to make those decisions or to advocate for really anything. I think we've, obviously we started really well. I thought we did a great job, and our net's been in a really good place, if that's one of the metrics we look at. But I think if you look at how we've played, I think we've played everybody, outside of the game at Connecticut, our game even our game at home against Connecticut was similar to this one, in terms of at least making them battle. But I think we've played everybody extremely competitive within our league, but that's for other people to decide. I told our team in the locker room, look, we don't know. We're going to prepare, as if we are. And so that's how I look at it. And I think when you look around the country, we'll see how we stack up. But obviously, the metrics are there right now for us to be in the conversation.
Questions for Coach? We'll go to Doug right here in the front row.
Hey, Joe. Doug Farmer, the AP.
Hi, Doug.
What is going to take for this conference to get back to a level that it was at when you were first starting coaching here? I know the teams aren't the same, but just what can help elevate this conference, get more teams in the NCAA, more teams playing the postseason?
Well, I mean, I think there's a bunch of things probably, but you have to have players. I mean, we've always been built on great players, and we've had great coaches, and we still do. Obviously, the landscape is ever changing in terms of revenue sharing and where that goes, and I think you've got to have the ability to stay up with the arms race in terms of what people are doing around the country. And I also think our leagues, look, our league is it's always been underrated, especially in the realignment. I think not in the old days. The old Big East didn't have to say anything or fight for anything because we were probably the best. But I think now it's changed in terms of we've got to be able to not only recruit great players or, as people will say now, find great players out there, whether they're with us now or they're in the portal and with NIL and the revenue share, and we got to be able to keep them. And I think, we've been probably hurt a little bit by some great players that have left the conference. But I also think it's a great opportunity. As I said yesterday, you're playing against the number 3 team or number 4 team in the country, as a perennial power of the East every year, sometimes the number 1 team. But we got to get players. I mean, we got to be able to do that. We got to be able to win, and we got to schedule teams that will play us in the non-conference. And so as coaches, we have a balance there that we have to figure out. I think there's still a little uncertainty in terms of where it's all going. But I think the scheduling part, being able to play against top teams, and again, every year is different. Guess what? Next year we might have this conversation. We might be right there. 2 years ago, we were really good. Even last year, I thought we were pretty good. Finished 3rd, and we weren't even in the conversation because we didn't start well. 2 years ago, we had to beat 3 ranked teams, including UConn at UConn, to be in the play-in game, and we finished 4th. So every year, I think, is going to be different. But I think people respect the Big East. We have to make them respect the Big East in terms of playing teams and beating them outside of we'll call the P4s, I should say, I guess. But we need players. And we're getting support. I think our league understands kind of what we need moving forward. And then we have to go do our job and win games. So, but nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change unless we find a way to get great players who have that personality and charisma and talent to be on the stage, similar to what the Connecticut guys are doing, right now.
Any other questions for Coach? Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Turn them off. Test, 1, 2. No problem. Yes. Correct. student athletes first. Please wait for the microphone and state your name and affiliation before your first question. Coach.
Thank you. We talked about it's always touch and go when you play in the first game, when you're playing your first game and the team just played. So you need to be able to do that. You need to be able to guard like that. So that's pretty much the story of the game. And doesn't matter what it looks this time of the year. Just move on to the next one.
Questions for the student athletes? Second row. Go to Maggie.
First, Ice Brady, how are you feeling, and what is it about March and the Big East tournament that fuels you to step up into another level?
I'm feeling good. Sorry. I'm feeling good. My shoulder is a lot better. Taking that time to rest and get strong definitely helped. And yeah, like Coach says, March is just, we're a different team, so the stakes are higher, obviously. We want to win. We have one goal in mind, and I feel like we all have been preparing for that all season, so it's exciting to finally just, get it all together and work together as a team and make that push, make that run. So, yeah.
Oh, right next to her, Emily.
Paige had 20 points without any threes today. Just kind of how did you adjust with the long shots not falling to kind of get to the rim a little bit more and find your mid-range?
Yeah, just trying to take what the defense was giving me, then playing blue or drop coverage quite a bit, let me get to my spot more, and then just trying to stay aggressive, continue to keep moving, looking for my shot, even if the three's not falling, try to get different ways to score. And my teammates did a great job of getting me open, setting great screens for me, and helping me find that. And so just trying to take what the defense gives.
Questions for the student athletes? Over here on the right.
Kari Thompson, Boston Globe. This can be for anyone who wants to answer it, but what's it like for you guys playing with Sarah Strong? What do you guys like about her game?
It's very fun. She's an extremely easy person to play with. And there's nothing on the court that she can't do, so you feel like every single time a ball comes off the rim, she's going to grab the rebound. Anytime you throw it to her, she's going to catch it and finish and make a great play. She can pass, she defends, rebounds, she can score at all three levels. So it's extremely fun to play with her and extremely easy.
Third row.
Avery Becker, Daily Campus. Ice, at the beginning of the season, you said to us that your goal was to gain more confidence in yourself and your play and your defense. How do you think you did accomplishing that goal this season? And what are your plans for March after you're returning from injury?
Yeah, I would say obviously the season wasn't linear in my progress. I definitely had some dips, but overall, I'm happy with where I'm at right now. The relationship I have with my teammates, my coaches, and with myself, that time that I was out, I feel like I was able to really kind of, get my mental back together and focus. And it's nice being in March, so there's no time to kind of overthink anything. And yeah, just continuing to rehab my shoulder, get stronger, and continue to get better.
Back right corner.
Daniel Connolly, the UConn blog. AZ, as a team, you guys weren't getting the three ball to fall, but you only had 4 turnovers all game. Just what did you do to just protect the ball well tonight?
Well, I think that it helped that our defense was really good today, so we got a lot of just easy buckets, transition, layups, and three-point looks. And I think Coach has really been harping on, taking care of the ball, setting up screens, using screens. So I think that is a big factor into taking care of the ball.
We'll go to Maggie, second row in the middle.
Maggie Benoni, CT Insider. AZ, what was it like just to see Caroline make her first bucket today?
Super exciting. I'm so proud of her. I think all of us, proud doesn't really do it what we feel justice, but it was super exciting. I mean, we all know what it feels like to come back from something and just want the ball to go in, and it doesn't. And so finally seeing that ball go in, now we know that whenever she shoots, they're all gonna go in, because that's how it is in practice. All of her shots, literally all of them go in, especially when she's playing against us. So we've just been waiting, and so I'm super excited to see that, and I can't wait to see all the ones to come.
We'll go front row on the left.
Azar Johnson from Envy. For any one of you three that want to answer this, sometimes especially with the tournament, other teams, with the exception of your team, they're looking for like the play you guys give their best shot because they're trying to get into tournament play. For the NCAA's, whether it's WNIT, whether it's the big dance. How much does it help you with your play down the line in the future for your tournament play when you're facing teams that are facing elimination and they're giving their best shot, and yet you guys still execute and dominate?
I kind of think that's how it is all season. Teams play us, and like we're playing UConn, we want to prove something. So I think having that preparation all season long, we get teams' best every single game, prepares us for now, and eventually as we continue in March. But I think that just prepares us for we're going to get the best team every night. So we have to come prepared. The girl that's not a shooter, she's going to be hitting shots, and we got to know the scout and the ins and outs of all the players.
Questions for the student athletes? All right, ladies, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach? We'll go to T in the back left.
Hey, Coach, T. Baker with the Next. So obviously Carrie Bascom was honored tonight, but I want to ask about one of her competitors, which is Lisa Gadeka, 1988 Big East Player of the Year. Can you just talk about any memories you have of playing against her, and if you followed her coaching career at all?
You're going to have to give me her maiden name.
Oh, I got to pronounce that one. Was it Angelotti?
Yeah, Lisa.
Okay. Yeah.
Lisa Angelotti.
Yeah.
I knew it was, but I wanted everybody to hear it. Local kid from South Jersey. When she came to Villanova, they were a really good team, and I don't think their freshman, sophomore year that anybody looked at her as anything special. But what happened was she just kept getting better and better and better, and she became one of those all-around players that was able to beat you moving without the ball, passing the ball, shooting the ball. And we had to compete against them, as our program was establishing itself. One of the teams that we always felt like we had to beat was Villanova. And to be honest with you, I think Villanova has one really, really, really good player every cycle, and it was her turn, and she was great at it. And I don't know where she's coaching right now. Where's she coaching right now? Gloucester Catholic, is it? Yeah, I remember. Yeah, and the reason I don't know where she's coaching is there's no way we would ever get one of her players if Villanova was recruiting him.
Questions for Coach? Right here on the right.
Coach, can I get your perspective on the season that Sarah Strong is having, and just how she has impacted your program?
Yeah, the way, obviously no one's able to watch all our practices, but the way she impacts games sometimes don't even show up on the box score, It doesn't always show up on the box score just how incredibly high her basketball IQ is, that she's able to see things before they develop. She knows exactly where the ball's going all the time. Like these guys said, there isn't a pass you can throw her that she won't catch, no matter, she's just incredible at, again, how to get the ball. And whenever she misses, I'm shocked. I'm surprised because she's so confident in her ability, whether it's around the basket, whether it's mid-range, whether it's an open three. But I think the best thing and the worst thing about her is she knows she's a great passer, one of the best we've ever had, and we've had some great ones. She's one of the best passers we've ever had, and that's incredible for a kid that can score like that. And what's terrible about it is she just wants to pass all the time, which, you know, I'm not a big fan of. And so and it's fun because her mom and her dad, you know, all three of us are ganging up on her every day, you know, encouraging her to be more aggressive, be more aggressive, be more aggressive, take more, you know, take more risks, take more shots. Don't be so quick to give it up. But that's just who she is. That's just what makes her who she is. She's just a great player who, first and foremost, wants to be unselfish. It's a great quality to have, believe me. I think it's probably the difference between coaching men's basketball and women's basketball. I don't think there's, you know, this phrase will never come out of a men's basketball coach. You need to shoot more. I'm finding myself saying that every day.
We'll stay in the second row. We'll go to Maggie.
I was just wondering if you had an update on Aubrey and what her status would be like for the rest of the tournament.
You know, she was really sore, you know, after the Marquette game, you know. So the thinking was, if we had to, we could, but if we don't, then it's best to give her all this time so that she's 100% ready to go for the NCAA tournament.
So just clarifying, is she out for the rest of the Big East tournament?
Unless I suit her up at halftime because I don't like the way we're playing. But right now, that's the plan. Yeah.
We'll go to Doug in the front row.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
What's up?
I know you're focused on this weekend, but looking nationally for a second, can you remember a time that there's probably a half dozen, if not more, teams that could win the title this year in the NCAAs, and probably more that can make the Final Four? That seems that there's not that one dominant team and everyone's playing each other, so there's parity in that way?
Yeah. I do think that the fact that we finally, and it's taken a while, we finally have more good teams wanting to play really good teams in their non-conference schedule early in the year. Because what happens then is you not only get well, I think this team should be ranked number 1. I think that team should be ranked number 2. Based on what? I don't know. They just look like they're number 2 or they're number 3. So now you can actually put them head to head and say, this is what it looks like. This is who did what, you know. And when you get to the NCAA tournament, the deeper you get, the more of those teams you're going to see. You expect to anyway. So I think that's a new thing that's happened in women's basketball, relatively new. But we've been trying to do that for the longest time. I think when we were in the regionals, when we were in the Final Four in Philly, okay, and even before that, when we were in the regionals, I think we had played, I don't know, something like 13 or 14 of the teams that were in the regionals. And so there's no surprises, you know. And I think more and more schools are starting to do that, which obviously makes the game better, makes the TV people happy because they're putting on a good product, you know, on television. The kids like it, you know. So, yeah, it should be a great NCAA tournament, you know. Knock on wood. I think there should be more upsets. That's the one thing that I think we're missing in the tournament that exists. You know, that's what's made the men's tournament what it is, right? You know, that's what everybody talks about. You know, everybody wants to see, you know, 15 beat a number 2, or in some cases like a 16 beat a 1. You know, 3 and 4 seeds getting knocked out early. That hasn't happened in our game a lot, but I can see it coming. You know, I can see those regional games not going according to plan, way more so than previous years.
We'll stay in the front row, Carl.
And since I said it, and I own it, it shouldn't happen to us. Better not.
Carl Adam at Hearst Media, CT Insider. Gino, two-part question, if you don't mind. They announced a sellout today, and hopefully someone in the Big East can tell me if that's happened before. Just a reaction to that. And second, to follow on the question about Lisa Carey Bascom, legends of the game. Can you talk about the impact she made on your program and, you know, what she did that made today possible?
Yeah. The sellout, it's like that time in the world right now where all this is happening. You know, I think it's not easy to come to one of our games, okay? Our games are, I mean, they're still a bargain compared to other tickets for other things, but getting people to come out and watch games instead of staying home and, you know, relax and enjoy whatever they're doing while they're watching the game. It's hard to get people to come out to games. So you have to be pretty good. You have to have a good product, and you have to, you know, understand you're in the entertainment business. And this is an entertainment venue, pretty much. And I think people are excited about basketball, women's basketball especially. Has there ever been a sellout? I know when we played at the XL Center, I don't think we ever got 16,000 in there, 15,000 in there. When it was at Rutgers, we certainly didn't. When it was at Campbell, I don't think we did. No matter where it was, you know, it wasn't a sellout.
No, you have to go back to when it was on campus sites back then.
Yeah, when it was on campus at the smaller arenas, you know, you can get more of them. As far as Kerry's concerned, you know, Kerry is the original Sarah. Sarah is Kerry on the next, how many years? 35? Right. Sarah is the 35-year evolution of Kerry. Kerry was one of a kind back then. You know? We're trying to establish us. We're trying to become a Big East contender. And kid averaged 7 or 8 points a game as a freshman. And Shelley Pennyfather had just graduated from Villanova, who was 3-time Big East Player of the Year. And Kerry stepped in and was 3-time Big East Player of the Year and first-team All-American the year we went to the Final Four. Nothing that has happened at Connecticut could have ever happened without her. Everything that came after Kerry was made possible by her. She had a really good supporting cast, don't get me wrong, but none of those guys were going to scare you, you know what I mean? So if anybody wants to know, you know, who's most responsible for what's happened at Connecticut, it's a kid from Epping, New Hampshire, who just came to UConn, and if she was playing today, she'd be Sarah. Same exact player. Identical. I mean, when we first saw her, when Jamel and I first saw her play, that's exactly what it said. You know, that's Carey Bascom. It's a hell of a thing.
Question back right corner. Did you have one? No? No? Okay. Front left.
Hey, Coach. Azar Johnson from MB Media. I had a question. I know that, and then you said you guys dominated, executed basically like how the way you want it. But knowing you as a coach, you're gonna look at certain things that maybe you could do better on. There was that one point in the second quarter, second period, where they seemed like they were starting to get a rhythm. St. John's. I don't know what the reasoning was. I'm pretty sure you know and you saw it. Will that be brought up as far
Oh, yeah.
tomorrow, or are you?
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah. I think whenever a team scores 2 points in a quarter, you can pretty much bet on it's not going to be 2 points in the second quarter, you know? And they did get into a little bit of a rhythm. The things that we did really, really well in the first quarter, we made 2 or 3 mistakes. They execute really, really well. You got to really be on your game against St. John's. You know, they have a lot of sets. They run a lot of misdirection stuff, and you got to be paying attention. And, you know, we made a lot of mistakes in the first quarter, and they just didn't make them. And then in the second quarter, we made some of those same mistakes, and they knocked them in, you know. So, yeah, making sure that that's not an issue going forward. And I think we probably missed 8 or 9, maybe 10 layups. It wasn't just our guards, you know, our big guys. Sarah missed a couple. It's just, and some games, you know, are just played gritty. They're not pretty. You know, there's nothing pretty about today's game. You know, and we talked about it in the locker room. We played Iowa State here, and it was pretty. You know, anybody that wanted to make a three, all you have to do is shoot it. Every three went in. It was fun. They were loving life. You know, today it was ugly, and you have to be able to grind it out. You know. So, but yeah, believe me, there's a lot of stuff on that film. They're going to wonder, how did we win?
Second row, Emily.
You got points from just about everybody today, Ozone. Just kind of, how did you feel about the contributions down the bench outside of your big three?
You know, that's good and bad, I think. We have 3 players that were first team All Big East, right? And I think it's my job to get all 3 of them a lot of touches. And then whatever everybody else gets, that's just added, you know. And sometimes those other guys, they really, really, really play great, and that's what makes the margins sometimes so wide. But there weren't going to be a lot of possessions today. St. John's takes the whole shot clock to shoot sometimes, most times. So there was limited possessions, limited touches for Sarah. Not happy about that. So unique contributions from everybody else. And it could be like I came in and made 2 shots. You know, I came in and, you know, got a bucket, got a steal, something, made 2 free throws. Yeah, points were not easy to come by in games like today. And maybe they won't be the whole tournament. Who knows?
Time for one more, back left.
Should invest in another microphone.
Hey,
I'm sure they can scrounge up enough money to get a microphone.
Hey, Coach, go out with the Athletic. You kind of build off that last question. You talked about a lot of touches, not a lot of players being able to get touches. One player in particular who's been doing it all season, Caitlin, came from a team where she was obviously getting more touches than she is here. Can you just speak to how she's adjusted to this new role and her impact on the team with this new role?
Yeah. Caitlin Chen is the kind of player that every really, really good team has. Somebody that doesn't have to score every time she touches. Somebody that isn't going to take bad shots just to get her shots. she's going to be a great leader. She's going to be a good defender. She's going to be, when she attacks the basket, I think the ball's going in. She's one of the best I've ever seen at getting in the lane and scoring. When you come from a program like Princeton, you know, where they were really well coached and they depended on her a lot, you might have come out of Princeton and go someplace where you're going to have the exact same role. And when she came here, she knew it was going to be different, be a little bit different. But it's exactly the role that we need. And she places winning above all else. So it's been great for us. It gives us a chance to play a certain way that we wouldn't be able to play if she wasn't here. You see us, we're pressuring the ball more in the full court, which we didn't do last year, the year before that. And I think she's raised her stock in WNBA draft stock because a lot of the GMs and a lot of the head coaches that have come to practice, she's become a better than average three-point shooter. She's a tremendous free throw shooter. She's gonna make it in that league. I think if she was a backup point guard for you, her first year, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody better.
Coach, thank you. Appreciate the time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.